Just when it seems like you have Russell in a spot where he's not going to get his usual touches, he doesn't and still impacts the game at such a high level.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to put his fingerprints on the game somehow, some way, and you just have to find a way to overcome it. That was actually, absolutely a big basket. The side out of bounds, 4 seconds on the clock. I believe it was a 1-point game. It appeared that Paul George, he and Jay Rich got into some kind of, tangle, and they both end up on the ground. And then Westbrook is left open for a wide open three, and that just gave him a little bit more air room and space to finish out the game. We had chances, to build a lead. We had a lead, I believe, with 7 minutes to go, and Felton's minutes were big. That was a little bit of momentum when they had a couple of their guys on the bench. He had an 8-0 run for himself. It felt like we were starting to take control of the game at that point. We weren't able to, and they made bigger plays down the stretch.
You had opportunities in the paint, but it looked like it was difficult to convert. What was the key contributor there?
They have speed and quickness and length. That's what they do to a lot of teams. So you have to, your windows close a little bit faster. We have the ability to finish layups. That might have been the difference, their ability to make layups consistently throughout the course of the game, and we missed some point-blank ones. That's not just the miss, but as you know, usually in this league, you miss a layup, it leads to a layup or a three going down the other end, and those can be 5-point swings sometimes. But regardless, we still had our chances. I thought the game was played probably a little bit more on our terms than theirs, but Westbrook made big plays down the stretch, and they were able to overcome what we were doing.
Your thoughts on Dwyane coming back and what he was able to give you and what he might be able to give you going forward?
Very encouraging with those minutes. He'll get in better rhythm. He was actually in better rhythm than I anticipated, but he really has been working hard behind the scenes. That doesn't happen by accident. If you're doing daily doubles and really preparing yourself, you can go into a situation like that, and he's been through this many times, but he obviously is going to really help settle us, particularly against really good teams on the road. He just gives you a sense of poise and confidence.
And this continued turn we've seen from James Johnson, again tonight, stepping up when points were hard to come by. Is this just a continuation of what you expect to roll forward?
Yes, and he's been playing better for a while, but it always starts with JJ, with his approach, with his habits, his behavior, his leadership, all of that behind the scenes. Once he gets all those things rolling in the right direction, his performance starts to trend that way as well. And he's been checking all those other boxes, and being really the spirit and heartbeat for this group. And sometimes that means scoring, but a lot of times that means facilitating, screening, and creating. And you saw his versatility tonight. He had to guard 1 through 5 and also played the 5 for us offensively at the end.
Erik, with Paul George and Carmelo, was it a case of them missing makeable shots, or do you like the job you did defensively?
A little bit of both. And even down the stretch with Westbrook, except for the one where it looked like Jay Rich got shoved, to a wide open three. A lot of Westbrook's baskets were heavily contested, or they were assaults on our defense, where we had help side defense, and he's just getting through, hands and bodies like very few can in this league. I'm sure those guys probably will say that they just missed some open ones, and probably some of them were, because we're putting a lot of emphasis on protecting the paint.
Erik, because the schedule stops for no one, now you have to go on to an indie team that is playing very well, beat the Clippers going into your game. How big is that as far as playoff race and just measuring yourself against another Eastern Conference playoff contender?
Hey, this is absolutely what you want. As professionals and playing this sport, you want your games to have this kind of impact. We're playing well too.
And just your thoughts on what Indy's done this year, just with their roster, sort of like yours, not necessarily maybe the star power like we saw against the Thunder, but guys all contributing.
It shows you, and this is happening around the league. There's the top tier of the league, and what the level that they're playing at. But there's a lot of other teams in our bucket. What Indiana has done, Portland we saw, and some other teams that the strength of the team is in the unity and playing together as a team, bringing something better out of each other, and that's what you're seeing right now with Indiana. You can tell that they're playing for each other, competing at a high level. Like I said, so is our group, and it shapes up for a very competitive game.
Steven Adams obviously did good work tonight, but do you like Bam seemed more aggressive second half crashing
Yes,
boards?
much better, much better. I think it took him a little bit to adjust, and that's why we like Bam so much. As a young player, he's never played against somebody like Steven Adams of that size. He was prepared going into it, but Adams was getting the best of him, and a lot of those 50-50 opportunities. Bam really brought a different physicality in the second half, but also offensively, we were able to run some offense with him, which helped. And that's a great quality to have as a young player, to be able to adapt on the fly and adjust and be able to find a different way to make an impact, and he did.